two topics. Yeah.
All right. So something, when we assumed office, we had to analyze what the situation was. When we did the analysis, we realized that, look, if you even do a time series analysis of periods where increases have occurred, you realize that the cocoa farmer has not really benefited. And then you also realize that in periods where we have maintained the prices when it's going down, COCOBOD has also made a lot of under-recoveries. And like I used the example of 2025 and 2026 with respect to the exchange rate, where we still kept the price for the farmer. We realized that, look, we immediately need a new pricing model, a new pricing mechanism that will ensure that if the farmer must benefit on the basis of high prices, they benefit. And then we also have a situation where if the prices are not good enough, COCOBOD also doesn't rake in debts under the guise of under-recoveries. And the petroleum downstream sector was in this situation many years ago until a decision was taken in 2015 to bring in the deregulation of the prices. And so we believe that we needed a system like that, a new pricing mechanism. Now, when we also looked at the funding model, we realized that, look, if you look at the syndication and you look at this bias funding model, first of all, look at the bias model which we had inherited. We had said, and I had granted interviews and said same, that we do not expect this funding model to go beyond 25-26. Because once we extinguish largely the rollover contracts, and you also had the prices come down a bit, the buyers will not be motivated. There will be no motivation for them to continue funding your crop. And so we needed a new funding model. Yeah. Now, if you look at the two models, from the syndication to the buyer-funded model, you would realize something interesting. We keep speaking about 560,000 as installed capacity for processing.
Yeah, I need you to be very quick about this rounding up.
Yeah. We speak about processing capacity and all that. But if you have funding models, that ensures that you collateralize your raw beans. Sometimes in the case of 2023-24, you collateralize close to 100% of your raw beans. What is then left for local processing? So you are just talking about processing capacity, but your funding model itself, your financing of the crop itself, does not allow you to be able to provide the beans for processing in Ghana. So you need a funding model that does not require of you to collateralize majority, if not all, of your raw bean to international buyers. And so a new funding model was needed. And that is why the issue of the pricing mechanism, the issue of the funding model came up. Now, to be able to go and this bias model and the syndication are all foreign banks, external, either buyers or foreign banks. Can we do something domestic? Can we change the narrative? That is possible. If you look at where the economy is going to and the numbers that are coming up, it should be better for this country to be able to, for COCOBOD to be able to do that. But you also needed to work on COCOBOD's books.
You're right.
Because COCOBOD had a negative equity of about 3.9 billion.
And what does it mean, working on your books?
So if you look at your debt profile, you look at your equity level, the banks will obviously look at your financial position. And that is why we needed to get some decisions taken by cabinet, especially the issue of conversion of the debts of Ministry of Finance, some of the debts of Ministry of Finance and the Bank of Ghana. And also the issue of the cocoa rows. If you take the cocoa rows, for example, and I'm happy Michael is here. Under the IMF program, I heard the former Minister of Finance, Dr. Anta, refer to IMF and IMF. Under the IMF program, COCOBOD committed to, because COCOBOD had signed cocoa rows from 2014 to 2024, 26.5 billion of cocoa rows. In 3 years, 2018, 2019, 19, 20, 2021, COCOBOD signed 21.5 billion out of this 26 billion worth of cocoa rows. 3 years, 21.5 billion.
Okay.
Now, COCOBOD committed to, in the IMF program, to do what they call a rationalization exercise, to reduce this
cocoa rows,
this indebtedness or this commitment from 21.7 billion at the time to 6.9 billion.
Yeah.
I got into office only to find out that for 2 years, COCOBOD didn't do it. They didn't do nothing. So it took me to go to the finance minister, for the finance minister to get the roads minister for us to sit. Within 6 weeks, we had completed this rationalization exercise to reduce the exposure from 21.7 billion to 4.35 billion. And that is the 4.35 billion that the finance minister requested of cabinet to move from COCOBOD's books to the Ministry of Roads and Ministry of Finance, so that the books also look better. So these are some of the practical steps we're doing to clean the books, to be able to let COCOBOD, with the backing of government, now go into the market and get these bonds to be able to finance the crop.
So